song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you hope when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Hillsborough online worship service. My name is Allison Mahaley, and I'm your worship associate today. I'd like to thank Amy Tattersall, our speaker, Wendy Calvin, our videographer, Aviva Enoch, our music coordinator, and the many wonderful singers who will be featured throughout the service. Most of all, I would like to thank you all for joining us today. Before we get started, I would like to remind everyone that we do have e-news. There are many announcements about the upcoming holidays and special occasions that are happening, as well as calls to help. There's a sign-up genius in this week's e-news for Food for All for November. Now, let's get ready for our worship service. We are a community of liberal-minded people who strive to connect with one another in love. Our spiritual home is located at 1710 Old North Carolina 10 in Hillsborough, but our community stretches far and wide as loved ones join us from all over the country as we engage in Sunday worship online. We are a people defined not by covenant, but by creed. That means that we have committed to a way of being rather than to a statement of belief. To that end, we support each other in spiritual growth and deepening of faith. We challenge one another to find more love, both inside ourselves and in the world. And today, we welcome you with open arms to our house of worship. During our service today, we're going to be talking about spiritual practices. In my opinion, a spiritual practice is anything that feeds your soul, that deepens your commitment to our faith. A spiritual practice can be reading poetry, walking in the woods, taking a long bath, anything really that calms your mind and allows you to think about the connection between your mind, your body, and your spirit. Amy is going to bring us a message based on a book about spiritual practices that she was introduced to during General Assembly. During coffee hour after the service, I will lead us in a discussion about anti-racism as a spiritual practice. I hope you all will join us via the Zoom link that we share in the chat and that is also in the e-news. Light the candle. Cup your hands around the flame and listen as it whispers. What does it say to your warm and weathered palms? Light the candle. Breathe against the flame and watch it ripple. Breathe your fears into it and let them burn into trails of empty gray. Light the candle. Feel your bones melt like wax, all your hardest parts softening to the touch. Light the candle.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life. For sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life. For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a sharing community where our joys are celebrated, and a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. Each Sunday, we take a moment to share and reflect on the special happenings that have occurred this week in our lives. For those of you who would like to share in the chat, please do so, knowing that everything shared aloud and in silence is held dearly in the heart of this community.
For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies. Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight. Source of all, to thee we raise this
to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, for no gentle thoughts and mild, source of all to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
I'll start, before you start, I'll say I love you.
All right. You're good to go.
Okay. To me, anything I do regularly that brings me peace and a chance to reflect is a spiritual practice. Peace, reflection, and gratitude are so intertwined as to be inseparable. I am grateful every morning I wake up. One of the only gifts of the pandemic and the injustices that are gripping the world is gratitude for being able to breathe. I am grateful for all the dogs in my life, present and past, for they remind me to get outside no matter what the weather. I am also grateful to get outside without the dogs, so I can walk at my own pace with no stops along the way unless I want to stop. So many precious reasons to be grateful are all about me. Gratitude as a spiritual practice leading to healing means engaging with people and being curious and open to other people changing me in some way. Sometimes stories of gratitude and healing come from other people, and sometimes they are deeply and painfully learned firsthand. The first time I spoke about the impact of General Assembly 2020 on me was a workshop about how fundamental covenantal relationships are to our faith. Another workshop that is continuing to enrich my faith is The Way of Gratitude with workshop and book by Galen Gingrich. I do not need to go back to listen to the workshop, and I do not need to read his book, although I have, to recall the most impactful and healing conversation after his talk. A participant told him how disappointing the workshop had been and what a waste of time it was. Whew! I immediately thought I would have responded defensively, shutting off any chance of connection. Galen stayed in the present and responded that he appreciated that she stayed for the workshop anyway, and then asked her what she expected. She replied that she was looking for steps we can all follow to be more grateful. Galen replied with thanks, and that he better understood why she was disappointed. One of my personal stories of gratitude as a spiritual practice involves me causing hurt with my words and with the gratitude I have for the lesson I learned. I reflect on this lesson often because I do not want to ever forget it. It is a painful story, and this is the first time I have ever spoken of it. I was at a festive event at NCSU celebrating scholarship donors and scholarship recipients. I was chatting with a Latina scholarship recipient and asked if her parents were legal residents. She said yes, and we both moved on. I did not recognize how my question was so hurtful, but it was. The student told her advisor that my question hurt. The advisor, thankfully, knows me well enough to believe I would not have hurt the student intentionally. So she called me to tell me how my question had hurt. The advisor said that the student did not expect a response, but I was left with how to make amends. I wrote a letter to the student and sent it to the advisor, asking her to use her judgment whether or not to share it with the student. I did not save a copy of that letter, but I will remember forever what I wrote. I acknowledged that I had hurt her. I stated that I was grateful she told the advisor, and the advisor told me. I asked for her forgiveness and that I know that forgiveness means nothing if it is not accompanied by how I am changed. I told her I will forever be more mindful of how my careless words and questions can hurt. I thanked her. Her advisor did give her the letter and said the student asked to tell me she was okay and appreciated the letter. I am grateful to both student and advisor. I close with a quote from The Way of Gratitude by Galen Gungrich from his book. The more aware we become of the interplay between our lives and the world around us, the more gratitude we will feel for all that we continually rely on. Gratitude, in turn, requires reciprocity. We will endeavor to do our part to ensure that the life around us flourishes, even as we are able to flourish. When this happens, we feel a deep and abiding sense of joy. Peace to you, my friends.
What wondrous love is this, O my soul, O my soul? What wondrous love is this, O my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul? When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's ground, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul, oh my soul, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing, to love and to all friends I will sing, to love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mend, with thanks unto the end I will sing, I will sing, with thanks unto the end I will sing.
Before we close today, I would like to share this quote with you by Beverly Engel. A meaningful apology is one that communicates 3 R's: regret, responsibility, and remedy. Please keep this in mind, and I hope that you will join us immediately following the benediction on Zoom to have this conversation about what does it mean to engage in anti-racism as a spiritual practice. So for now, my friends, we extinguish this flame, but not the fire of our commitment or the warmth of this community. Go in peace, my friends, and blessed be.
To my loved ones and relations, with me in spirit every day, to neighbors I have not yet met, close to home and far away. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. My friends who make good music, sharing joy both far and wide, and to those who we depend on to teach, to heal and guide. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. To all who hear this message, to strangers and to friends, here's an embrace of music until we meet again. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. Be safe, be well, you mean the
Wash your hands.